Am I audible? Am I audible to everyone? Okay. So in last lecture we have discussed the FMCG industry and the FMCG industry, how the FMCG industry works, what are the flaws and the factors affecting the FMCG industry, the Indian market, what are the top five players in the market. So in this lecture, we are going to study the FMCG industry, their revenue shares, their market shares, their developments, what they are developing for Indians, as well as Indian industry, the schemes of the government, FMCG industry. So in last lecture, we have discussed the segments regarding the FMCG industry. The four main segments are household care, personal care, food and beverages, healthcare. In household, what are the main products? That is fabric wash, household cleaners, personal care products are ointment, oral care, perfumes, and paper products are called as personal care products. In food and beverages, the 60 to 65% market of the industry comes from the food and beverages segment, which comes as health and beverages, staples, cereals, bakery products, snacks, chocolates, ice cream, and other processed foods. And the fourth is healthcare products, which is called as over-the-drug care products and ethicals, which are available in medicals. So the players in the industry who are the top five players are Hindustan Unilever, ITC, that is Indian Tobacco Company, Nestle India, Amul, Dabur, and several other players, which are major role in Indian market. The top six players of that market, that is Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Nestle, Britannia, Dabur, as well as others. They have HUL Hindustan Unilever have around 36 to 37% market share. ITC is having around 30% market share. So we are discussing this last lecture. So these are the leaders, challengers, followers, the demand and supply. Then supply chain analysis. We have discussed the supply chain analysis of FMCG industry. Supplier A, that is ITC or HUL or Dabur is there. Their warehouses are there. Storage yard is there. Then there is raw material supplies are there. They are manufacturing the products, packaging that products in storage our warehouses, then distributing to the retailer across various countries or in districts or in like Pune, Mumbai, Nagpur, in Maharashtra as well as Bihar, as well as New Delhi. There are distributors located. After that, retailers are located, and it comes to customers. So it is a supply chain analysis of the FMCG industry. So the capacity analysis of industry and key players. The key players include Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Nestle. Here Hindustan Unilever have 36,000 employees across the India. With indirect employment for uh, it is around 2 lakhs. Retailers are not included in the above numbers. They have 7,000 distribution stock list and 2,000 suppliers of for raw materials. So these are some of the companies of FMCG. An online presence of the industry. Here, each and every product is available in Amazon, Flipkart, eBay, and various other e-grocery stores like Big Baskets, Reliance. So FMCG brands is no longer confined to brochure-like web pages. FMCG brands have moved from creating static web pages to interactive and engaging experiences on the internet. So they are sending like they are spending ITC in this Unilever. They are spending around 40 to 50 lakh on online digital media campaigns. Yeah, 5% of the total ad spent on marketing and other devices. Then 50 rupees 50 to 20 lakh on a website or viral or digital marketing platforms. So these are some of the platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, eBay, Big Basket, Aram Shop, Snapdeal, Nature's Basket. So the Hindustan Liver, which is the topmost brand or which has highest market share, they have mission is to add vitality to life. So this is all about the company information, how it is established, then company revenue, people, CEO, CMO, their headquarter located. So this is the Hindustan Liver history, how it is established, what is the company renamed, how the company comes into the era of FMCG. So Hindustan Unilever Company is the largest FMCG company in India. It is owned by the British Dutch company Unilever and has about 52% majority stake in Hindustan Unilever Limited. Its products include food, beverages, cleaning agents, and personal care products. It is headquartered in Mumbai. Hindustan Unilever Limited has over 35 brands spanning 20 distinct categories. They have 35 brands which are located across the U brands. That is, this is a this is the U brand. It has 35 brands located in this symbol. Here, as per Nielsen market research data, two out of the three Indians use Hindustan liver products. So these are some of the food and food and drink brand. These are Annapurna, Taj Mahal, Brook Bond, Kisan, Brew, North, Quality Walls, Red Label. These are some personal care brands such as Lux, Clear, Ayush, X, Clinic Plus, Pepsodent, Pierce, Lifebuoy, Dove, Ponds. The home care products of Hindustan Unilever of Active Wheel, Vim, Rin, Comfort, Surf Excel, Domex. So Hindustan Unilever have distributed some of the products like home and personal care products are 74%, food products are 16.2%, exports they have export their products to 7.3%, and other chemicals and water bottles and other different products are 2.2%. Then ITC, which is the brand logo mission is enduring values. Then the history of the ITC, how the company is launched. The company first product is tobacco. Then they have comes into snacks or other FMCG products. Then they have comes into various stationery products, books products, hotels industry. So some of the products like they have started from cigarettes, then they come to into biscuits, foods, and other snack products. Then they come into personal care, then lifestyle retailing, clothes, then utensils, matches, education industry, hotels, paperboard and packaging, agribusiness. They are also in IT industry. So these are some of the FMCG cigarette brands. So it is packaged foods like Ashirwad Atta, Bingo, Candyman, Sunfish, Minto. So these are some of the products or product packaged food products or brands of ITC. In education and stationery, they have comes with the brand name Classmate, Papercraft, Color Crew. These are all the stationery products of ITC company. Then personal care products of ICT company, Intense Sticks, Safety Matches, John Players. With Lifestyle, these are some clothing and retail brands of ITC. Then third company is Nestle, Good Food, Good Life. So company is established in Switzerland. How they comes into India? Here, Nestle relationship with India as the Nestle Agro Swiss Condensed Milk Company Limited. Back to 1912, Nestle India is a subsidiary of Nestle Switzerland, and they have established their first company in Punjab, first factory in Punjab. Here, Nestle India head office is located in Gurgaon, along with four other branches like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata. So these are beverages of Nestle like Nescafe, Nespresso, Nesquik, Milo, Aquarel. So these are some of the other products, nutrition and Kim products. Then Nestle Maggi, Pluton, Herta, Thorme, Vinery. These are available in India also. Then Kit Kat, Smarties, Lion Crunch. These are some of the chocolate and other products in L'Oreal Paris. So Nestle's growth. Here today, Nestle is the world's largest and most diversified food company. It has around 2 lakh 50,000 employees, 500 factories, and 8,000 range of products across the globe. Here, Nestle India is engaged in manufacturing, marketing, exporting, and sales of food and beverages. It has seven manufacturing facilities and exports its products to Russia, Australia, and Africa. Here, Nestle India had an annual sales of over 5,000 crore last year, and it has been enjoying growth of around 20% in last 2 years. So we have discussed the what is the external environment, how that external environment affect the business, what is the micro environment as well as macro environment. The micro environment itself in the organization, like the company capacity, company size, company employee union, companies, vendors as well as suppliers as well as the strategies, so, which are surrounds across the organization is called as macro environment. So with whom the micro environment affects, that is company itself, then suppliers, then intermediaries of that organization, then competitors of that organization, the public and customers, all comes into micro environment. How the micro environment, what is the macro environment, like government, then government policies, the economy, it comes into all into macro environment. The macro environment refers to those factors which are external forces to the company's activities and do not concern the immediate environment. Here, macro environment are the forces which indirectly affect company's operation and working conditions. So, these are some of the forces which affect the organization or FMCG company. First is demographic forces, economic forces, natural forces, technological forces, political forces, and last is cultural forces. These are all affects the macro environment of the organization. So these are the some of the controlling ministry like Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, FSSAI. So these are the authorities of India. So in the family of Chinese range of Nor instant noodles may come under the scanner of Food Safety and Standard Authority of India as a product is not in the approved list of items of the Central Food Safety Regulation. Am I audible? So in Nestle Maggie example, the the hazardous food like it in 2015, the Maggie the brand was collapsed due to their issue like the lead issue, and they have the authorities, they have punished their products, bribed their products, and the Central Food Regulator, the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, in a circular study 8 June 2015, all asked all state food regulators for testing for instant noodles, pasta, and macaroni brands of seven companies, including ITC. So these are the some of the factors which comes under macro environment. So the key national and global issues affecting the industries. What are the key? national and global issues like intensified competition, counterfeit product goods, supply chain constant lack of infrastructure, media exposure, regulatory issues are some of the key national and global issues. The key initiatives taken by the government to promote the FMCG industry are infrastructure support like MIDCs, then small organization, macro organization, NGOs under which the ladies organizations are working. These are some of the government initiatives like R&D promotion, tax incentives, privatization of electronics hardware manufacturing task force. So what are the environmental issues? The catering to such a large company comes with its set of responsibilities, including availability of raw material, using environment-friendly packaging material, and responsible marketing. Like environmental issues, FMCG goods or FMCG material is perishable in nature. So the environment issues comes in the FMCG industry, like the storage, then capacity of the storage, then perishable food products, food items, then the LIFO FIFO it comes into the market in storage systems, like storage and visibility material, sustained supply of raw material, responsible marketing, which all comes in the environmental issues. Then what are the marketing strategies to be done by the ITC, Hindustan Unilever, Patanjali, like multi-brand strategy, product flanking, brand extensions, branding, building product lines. Some of the marketing strategies of FMCG companies. There are also various other strategies like new product development, product life cycle strategy, taking advantage of wide distribution network. We have discussed what is the target market, how the product needs to be, how the product should be so that it can be used or taken by all the Indian people. So these are the factors like geographic, demographic, ecographic, behavioral, which is all research. They are doing research and developing of the product. The company is using his brand name, using his research activities to develop the product. So what is meant by differentiation and positioning? Here, both shortly define differentiation as the process of adding meaningful and valuable differences to distinguish the product from competition. There are a number of differentiation dimensions and strategies for their accomplishment. So the firm differentiate along with five dimensions like product, services, personal, channel, image. So the like Maggie is the product. So they have differentiated their service. Like it is be free for it is available in all the kirana stores, all the shops, and it is made or available in 2 minutes. Then the channel of that product or the image of that product, then TV channels, then the advertisement on TV channels. So the Maggie has separate differentiation among all the products. So what is the positioning? Positioning is the process of creating a desired image among its competitors in the public mind. The e-marketer's goals is to build a position on one or more bases that are relevant and important to the consumer. So the basis and strategies for positioning a product or service attribute, high effectiveness, benefits, user categories, comparison with competitors, integrator position. In last lecture, we also discussed the marketing mix, how the product, price, place, promotion plays a very important role in marketing mix. In first lecture, in last one, we have discussed what is the product, what is the price, what is the place, promotion, how it is important the place is, how the important the product is or product and services are. So let's come with the financials of FMCG industry. So the first financial is Hindustan Unilever. The data was developed in 2009 and sharpened in 2015. The distinct purpose is to make sustainable living commonplace. Strategy of its ITC is create multiple drivers of growth by developing a portfolio of world-class businesses that best matches organizational capability with opportunities domestic and export markets. Benchmark the health of each business comprehensively across the criteria of market standing, profitability, and internal vitality. Continue to focus on chosen portfolio of FMCG, hotels, paperboards, packaging, agribusiness, and information technology. So they are focusing on these business among all. First is FMCG, then second is hotels, third is paper. And amongst all in last is ITC. Last is information technology. The company's strategy is to work across only on FMCG. This is the growing business of that company's FMCG. The Nestle strategy is delivering distinct benefits to people through food and beverages, products and services we provide. Yes, through our brands, our products and services we offer, we are helping and inspiring people to live their healthy lives. So this is the revenue of HUL, ITC, the profit of the ITC Nestle. Yes, six players and their turnaround strategy. Like Maggi regains top spot in noodles market with 57% share in BGU. The Maggi share is 57%. Another like Suki noodles or other products are also comes in Maggi section of noodles section, but their market share is less. The Maggi's market share is 57%. Nestle has launched four variants of Maggi Appa noodles and Maggi hot heads each. The presentation said beside it has also launched no onion, no garlic noodles. Then Nestle India launched up to 25 products across various categories in a day to tend of competition. So this is a strategy of some of the companies that they are focusing on not a multi-level nor multi-brand strategy or nor multi-product strategy. They are focusing only on one product and they are selling their products with high volume. So it is a strategy of that company to launch a product so that the customers can like that product and they are using that product with wide number. Some of the recent developments of the FMCG industry are like eight mega trends in FMCG industry, and strategic alliances in the industry, impact due to 2017 budget. Here the strategic alliances in industry like the companies like ITC and industry will comes with some of the time like 2 or 3 years. Then they are developing their separate business or then they are developing their separate products and services, and they are selling their products and services. So it is there are some of the strategic alliances like new product developments or their mergers and developments there, like joint venture is there. So these are the strategic alliances in the industry, or if a company or if any company is from packaging, so they comes with a joint venture with ITC. So they comes with the products developing by ITC and the packaged by other products or other companies like 3M. So it is a joint venture or merger between two companies. They are developing their products and packaged by other products. Then what is the impact in 2017 budget? So what are the eight mega trends in FMCG like big data, speed of social media, health concern, online grocery shopping, environmental sustainability, manufacturing consolidation, retailer polarization, aging products. So these are some of the mega trends in FMCG industry. Like FMCG industry is fast moving. The changes are if any company changes their products within a time of 2 or 3 days, the new product is launched of the same competitor, and the big data is works on various products like if the product is launched in Switzerland or Japan, same product or like other products will also launch in India. So it is the speed of social media. Then health concerns or health issues are wide, like age peoples are most in our country. So the TV channels or TV media, they are spreading their news with the help of their that, that we can use that products. It will deliver a huge impact on the mindset of consumers. Then online grocery is growing. Online media is there like Big Basket, like Reliance Fresh and other all online medias. So these are the trends of the FMCG industry, how the industry is changing and what the consumer demands, what the consumer needs are there. According to that, the companies also want to change their strategies, change their policies, change their the products and services according to that. Here there are some of the strategic alliances in the industry like Starbucks, HUL and Group One, Ponds, Amul. So these are the some of the strategic alliances in the industry. Here we have to read the impact the 2017 budget is. Here rural consumption has been worse affected in recent years, with the demonetization making it worse. Manrega, the location just above the 17 in 2000 year 17 revised estimate. So no additional boost, no direct benefits from the budget for rural consumers, but higher allocation could trickle down eventually. Then middle class consumers will be happy as they will have more money in their hands. The tax cut is expected to cost the government. for rupees 13,500 crore. Yes, some of that could boost consumption while the rest could be saved. Discretionary spending could get a boost to some extent. The government's approach seems to allow consumption to revive by itself without creating inflationary pressures on the back of improving economic conditions. That means a more gradual recovery for the consumer sector, especially those reliant on rural markets. Yes, cigarettes have been attacked for revenue with a 6% increase, which is milder compared to increases in previous years. The increase on other tobacco products is higher, which levels playing field to some extent. While this is good, once the goods and services tax comes into force on July 1st, the new rates are what will really matter. So, if the tobacco taxes are increased, the revenue of that product will also increase. Like in 2017 budgets, they have said that the tobacco tax is going higher. That's why the cigarettes are getting higher. The prices of the cigarettes are also increasing. So it affects the budget, affects all the consumer products, all the agribusiness, all the bank or agribusiness loans or other commodity items. Then food and packaging industry also affects the with the help of budgets. If any product or if any packaging product or any kind of electronic or machinery products are increase, then the products or prices of other all the FMCG or relatable items are going to increase. So the impact due to 2017 budgets, like new goods and service tax, like GST, is implemented to simplify tax structure. So first is supply chain structure, like introduction of GST as unified tax regime will lead to a re-evaluation of procurement and distribution arrangement. Here, the removal of excise duty on products would result in cash flow improvements. The rate of GST on services is likely to be 16% and on goods to be 20%. So the supply chain structure or the GST or tax benefits or in each and every country or in each and every state, the tax on various taxes are imposed, which caters the ultimately increases the price of the products. So the removal of excise duty is also helpful to reduce the cost. The rate of GST on services like to be 16% and goods to be 20%. So the budget affects all the pricing of that industry. Then second is pricing and profitability. Here first is elimination of tax cascading is expected to lower inputs cost and improve profitability. Then second is application of tax at all points of supply chain is likely to require adjustment to profit margins, especially for distributors and retailers. Third is cash flow. Here, tax refunds on goods purchased for resale implies a significant reduction in inventory cost of distribution. Here, distributors are also expected to experience cash flow from collection of GST in their sales before remitting it to the government at the end of tax filing period. Then fourth is system changes and transition management. Here, changes needs to be made to accounting and IT systems in order to record transaction in line with GST requirements, and appropriate measures need to be taken to ensure smooth transition to the GST. It is estimated that India will gain 15 billion US dollars a year by implementing the goods and services tax. So the all affects these are the factors like system, supply chain structures, pricing and profitability, cash flow, system change and transition management. It affects the business as well as the pricing policies as well as the money or economy of the country. Yes, the announcements like key excise duties on various tobacco products other than BD raised by about 10 to 15%, which impacts the negative for ITC like Indian Tobacco Company, VST Industries, Godfrey Phillips. So the excise industry or excise duties are increased. The prices raised by 10 to 15%. It affects the pricing of another products also. Then the excise on ready-made garments with retail price of rupees 1000 or more raised to 2% without input tax credit or 12.5% with input tax credit. It is negative for various garment products like Arvind, Madura, Garment, Raymond, slightly positive for V-Mart as well as Reliance, then Aditya Birla, Grasim. So these are some of the ready-made garment products. So the retail prices of the also higher. The shirts and trousers or blazers prices are also getting higher. Here, rupees 9,000 crore has been provided for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is positive for Sera Sanitary Ware, Hasil, or some of the aftermarket or construction business or sanitary products. So it is provided for Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. It is helpful for other products or other construction made products. It cuts excise duty on rubber sheets for soles to 6% versus 12.5%. It is positive for Bata, Relaxo footwear, Liberty shoes, as well as other shoe products because they have cut the excise duty on rubber, which is helpful for the industry or key players or the organization which works in shoes and other products. Some well-known campaign of FMCG sectors are Project Shakti by HUL. The company generates around half its business from India's towns and cities and half from rural areas, where its products are sold in some 1 lakh villages with populations of about 2,000 or more. To gain more share in rural market, like Hindustan Unilever starts an ambitious project named as Project Shakti, in which company starts direct-to-consumer sales distributors through women's self-group that had been springing up around the country. These groups, about 1 million of which now exist across India. The company provides training in selling, commercial knowledge, and bookkeeping, teaching them to become fully fledged micro entrepreneurs. Yes, Shakti Women Entrepreneurs covering 50,000 villages in 12 states, selling to 70 million consumers. This represents a 30% increase in the rural population reach. So these are some of the projects or some of the CSR activities conducted by the companies to helpful for the organization, to helpful for the society or NGOs. They are doing that suppose such type of campaigns to grow the India's as well as urban as well as rural population. How the entrepreneurs can be developed or how the distributors or how the chains is going to be vast. So it depends upon the project of each and every company. Then each opal is an initiative of ITC Limited. So what is the each opal? ITC establishes services which link directly rural farmers to manufacturer via the internet. Here each opal was conceived to tackle the challenges posed by the unique features of Indian agriculture, characterized by fragmented farms, weak infrastructure, and the involvement of numerous intermediaries. Traditionally, commodities were sold through mandis, like mandi or markets or likewise taluka places markets, where the middleman used to make most of the profit. These middlemen used to unfair means to judge the quality of product to set the price. Farmers didn't get the right value of their products. So ITC has empowered the lives of people living in 10 states, where 40,000 villages have 6,500 each opals and around 4 million farmers have been empowered. Each opal also provides products of ITC at cheaper rate. It is beneficial to both parties. So it is inaugurated in the year I think 2017 or 18. So the e-Chopal is initiative of ITC Limited. The consumer or the farmer, they have to send their products or goods to this website, the e-Chopal, and the auction is made by the ITC Limited, where they have sell their products at margin price or margin level price or government issues. So these are the some of the initiatives like e-Chopal, further Project Shakti, and third initiative is Swasthya Chetna Abhiyan by Dabur. Here the company has initiated Swasthya Chetna Abhiyan, an activity that will cover 550 villages and reach almost 20 lakh people in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Dabur recently signed actor Ravi Kishan as its brand ambassador for below-the-line promotions like the BTL in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar has launched a consumer engagement program with him. The activity have five elements: free health checkup, engagement activities, movie screenings, spot sales, and a meet and great opportunity with brand ambassador Ravi Kishan. So these are the activities in rural areas where the company can reach their products or services, and the channel of that or the chain of that company is going each and every country or each and every villages are in our country. So these are the some of the abhiyan or some of the missions or some of the initiatives taken by the companies like HUL, Nestle, Dabur. Here the van campaign by Merico. Merico is the company of Parachute Oil. Here it creates awareness for Parachute coconut oil pouch in towns with less than 20,000 population in Tamil Nadu. This campaign converts loose oil buyers into Parachute pouch customers. By highlighting the advantages of Parachute brand convince them to pay a small premium for the brand. The van campaign aimed exclusively for women and for the first time conducted by women in male-dominated society. According to Marico, substantial increase in sales reported from the campaign areas. A study by Marico showed a 25% conversion from loose coconut oil usage to Parachute pouch pack. Post-Van campaign, the success of the campaign motivated Marico to repeat the campaign the following year even in towns with 1 lakh more than 1 lakh population with excellent results. 5x complete campaign by Harpic. India's number one toilet cleaning brand from Racket Benckiser has launched the all-new Harpic Plus and starts door-to-door promotion or door-to-door selling used by Hussein as a brand ambassador. Here, Limpton campaign. Like Brook Bond Lincoln India Limited or Brook Bond Limpton India Limited markets its rural brands through magic shows and skits. So these are some of the magic shows, skits. So we have discussed today the how FMCG industry works, their project initiatives, their market share, their revenues, what are the factors affected by FMCG industry, how the industry works, then macro and micro environment, then trends, recent developments, key players, profits, revenue strategies developed by the company stock, then marketing mix, positioning and targeting of the FMCG industry, then marketing strategies, environmental issues, key initiatives, authorities, what is the role of authority, then brands, different logos of various companies, then the concept of the company history to development their products. So next is how the FMCG industry works in Indian or rural market. It was a survey developed in April 2020, which is last year. It was developed by Indian Brand Equity Foundation, which is called as IBEF, and how the fast moving consumer goods industries, like the contents like Advantage India, market overview, investments, policy and regulatory framework, opportunity, industry associations. So the first is Advantage India, like FMCG industry, how advantages in India, like a large and growing youth population, emergence of organized retail business, then the growing urbanization, increasing disposable income are some of the factors which are helpful for FMCG industry to grow in India. Like India is among the world's youngest nations with the median age of 25 years as compared to 43 in Japan and 36 in the US. This, coupled with a large population and rapidly evolving consumer preferences, has translated into large market opportunity for FMCG players. The second is emergence of organized retail business. Here, real estate development in the country, such as construction of shopping malls and hypermarkets, are opening up the new business channels for FMCG companies. Then third is growing urbanization. Here, Indian cities are expected to add 379 million people to the consumer base for FMCG companies. As the urbanization rate is expected to increase from current, that is 30 to 45% in the year next year, 40 years. Then Fourth is increasing disposable income. According to the recent estimates, household income in the top 20 boom cities in India is projected to grow at 10% annually over the next 8 years. So these are the some of the factors or advantages of our country to grow the FMCG industry, like large and growing youth population, then emergence of organized retail business, then construction sector is increasing, the malls and hyper malls, then distribution shifts, then online channel is also increasing, then growing urbanization is there, like Lola, Zoom, or Zomato, then Food Panda and other all business or sectors are also increasing. The urbanization helps the company to boom the market. Then increasing disposable income, like people are spending their most of the time on Zomato, Swiggy's, other grocery stores. The second is market overview. In 2008, in 2013, in 2018, it is estimated like market size in 2008 is 25 US billion. Okay, in 2008 it is 43 billion USD, and in 2008 it is 74 USD. So it is growing around 10 to 12% annually. Here, the Indian FMCG sector, with a market size of 25 billion USD, contributes a 2.15% of India's GDP. The India is poised to grow between 10 to 12% annually. A well-established distribution network spread across 6 million retail outlets, including 2 million in 5,160 towns and 4 million in 6 lakh 27,000 villages. A low penetration level, low operating cost, and intense competition between the organized and unorganized segments are key characters of this segment. So, what is the analysis of the market, like Indian market? Here, organized retail, changing industry dynamics. The Indian retail market size estimated at around 350 billion USD and is projected to grow at 13% per annum to reach 590 billion USD by 2011 and 12. The current share of organized retail is estimated to be 4 to 5% and expected to increase by 15 to 18% by 2015. Here, organized retail has created new channels for FMCG players through diverse retail formats such as departmental store, hypermarkets, supermarkets, and specialty stores. With organized retailing emerging in major way across the country, the revenues of FMCG companies are expected to surge. Like last lecture we have discussed like ITC Chopal. They have launched in 2000 how it is helpful for the company as well as the farmers. Like rural market, the new growth factor is the rural India accounts for close to one third of total consumption pie. Robust consumption in the rural economy is one of the key drivers of India sustained growth. Here, FMCG companies are devising exclusive rural marketing strategies to tap at the rural consumers. The first strategy is ITC Chopal. The second is the CM Sri Ram's Hariyali Kisan. Like each center operates in catchment of about 20 kilometers. Centers are engaged in bridging last mile connectivity to consumers, providing quality agri input, offering financial services and farm output services, as well as other products and services such as fuel, FMCG, apparel. Here, like the two top players like Hindustan Unilever, Dabur India, a large number of FMCG companies derive a significant proportion of their overall sales from outside the top few hundred cities or towns, which reflects the growing economic importance of India's rural consumer base. Here, Hindustan Unilever have 45% rural market share in household products, and Dabur India they have 40% rural market share in personal products. The GSK has launched Asha, a low-cost variant of Horlicks for rural market only. The product is priced at 1.8 US dollar for 500 gram pouch. Nestle, Britannia, they are launching their products in rural market as well as the need of the urban market as well. So this is the market segment like Indian FMCG market segment like baby care, fabric care, food products, hair care, household, over the care drug products, others, personal care. So this is the all around 2009 market share. The food products is the largest consumption country category in India, accounting for nearly 21% of the country's GDP. Some of the leading players in this segment include Britannia Industries, Dabur, Glaxo, then Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation. The FMCG products are also exported in various countries, such as the India is recognized as cost-effective quality manufacturing base in the world market. As Indian companies are going to global, they are focusing more to overseas markets such as US, UK, UAE, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Thailand, Afghanistan, South Africa, Mauritius, others through exports or the establishment of their own foreign subsidiaries. Here, multinational companies in India have also started supporting their global supply chain requirements by serving as cost-effective sourcing bases. So, from India, they have exported various material or various quality-based products. They are exported in various countries. Like what is to be exported? Like Hindustan Lever exports skincare products, Arabia, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka. Oral products to Europe, tea to Europe, 3-in-1 tea, Premix Arabia, then marine products like the Gulf. Then Nestle exports culinary products, noodles, instant coffee, instant tea. Then Dabur exports Gorgum, the UK and the US. Vatica hair oil in North America, North Africa, Middle East. Dabur Vatica Naturals, they sent to MENA. The company also has a private label business in the US and UK. Here, Godrej exports GCPL currently exports to 33 countries, including United Arab Emirates, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Thailand, Afghanistan, South Africa, and Mauritius. So, what are the key trends of the some of the companies like consolidation? Like Indian FMCG companies are either increasing their focus on certain market segments or are consolidating their existing business portfolio. Yeah, like Dabur India Limited merged its wholly owned subsidiary like Dabur Foods Limited with itself. It is a consolidation of several products or several own brands or own companies. Then Agrotech Foods Limited, an Indian subsidiary of global food major Congra, excited from its sourcing and institutional business for of oil and agricultural raw material procurement, seed buying and processing operations, food service and poultry feed ingredients. So these are some of the companies who works their own subsidiaries. Then product innovation is the second consultation or the strategic issues. Several companies have taken to innovation by launching or customizing their existing products portfolio for new consumer segments. Like Imami launched a men's fairness cream. It is a new product development. Then Nestle and Amul have launched probiotic products by providing active ingredients in regular consumable products such as yogurt and ice cream. Then third trend is lifestyle products. They are launching various lifestyle products like Procter and Gamble launch Ollie range. The company also has plans to expand its current Indian product portfolio. Then Hindustan Unilever launch Avians and Excalibur range of high technology, high performance beauty services for women. Then fourth trend is third party manufacturing like GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Healthcare Limited outsources the processing of products such as malt-based foods, biscuits, nutrition bars, sweet marts to third-party vendors. Then Hindustan Lever processing of its products such as soap, synthetic detergent, and packaged to third-party vendors. So these are some of the strategies like consolidation, product innovation, new product development, lifestyle product manufacturing, or new product development, then third-party manufacturing are some of the trends of FMCG industry companies. Then expanding horizons, like Tata Tea is acquired a 30% stake in US-based energy brands incorporated, especially water company. Then India Limited is setting up manufacturing facility in Africa. So they are also exporting or expanding their manufacturing bases or the subsidiaries across the various countries, so that their brand name or their exporting business is also located in outside their country. Then backward integration. Here, KS Oil's acquisition of 53,000 acres of land for palm oil plantation in Indonesia complements its front-end strategy of establishing a refinery in India, in East India, to reinforce market leadership in eastern and other regions of the country. Then key trends like FMCG players in India are focused on reducing their carbon footprint of the energy used in PepsiCo India beverages business. 38% comes from renewable resources. Dabur has 30% of its steam generation fired by renewable resources. Hindustan Lever and ITC have on voluntary emission reduction and certified emission reduction credits for all their work, respectively. Like HUL was awarded 52,000 VER credits for developing a new soap making process called block shear mixer, which eliminates the need for steam altogether. The key players like companies, their sales, how they are into, what are the products are, what are the brand names are there. Like Britannia, they have sales in 2009. Colgate Palmolive sales in 2009. Dabur India sales in 2009. Imami sales in 2009. Then Godrej Consumer Products, Gujarat Milk Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, Hindustan Liver. So these are their products. How the products how they have, what are the brands they have in food, personal care, home care, how they are establishing their products. Then the new brands are they are creating. So in this lecture we have discussed the advantages in India and market overview. In next lecture we are going to discuss what are the investment policy and regulatory framework, opportunities, industry associations in Indian marketing only. And this is the different perspective of the FMCG industry, how the industry works, and this is the real or the numbers of the figures of market share, how the market is working, the strategies of the Indian market. So thank you all of you. Thank you for attending the lecture. Thank you so much.